So my case study is about the life of Eve, things to emulate and not to emulate from her. So after the creation of like everything and man, God saw that there was a problem. And what was the problem? The problem was that man, which is Adam, was alone. So he decided to find a solution to the problem. That was where he created Eve out of Adam. So he created Eve out of Adam for Adam not to be alone. And which, from my study, reading the chapters, I understood why God created Eve for Adam, because of companionship. And why God created Eve was because Adam was alone in the Garden of Eden. And after creating Eve was actually a good companion to some extent. Yeah, because I didn't know how many years they stayed in the Garden of Eden before the fall. So she was like a good companion, to my own knowledge, to some extent, before making herself to be distracted. Because that is why God created Eve for Adam, so that she would be a companion, not knowing she, like Adam too, was meant to be a companion to her. And there was no point in time in her life was she meant to be alone. I'm not saying physically. So there was no point in her life was she meant to be alone. Because even before the creation of Eve was already within Adam. They were not alone. They were already together. So God already knew the future Eve before creating her for Adam. So that is why these days and time, so many people will be like, if they're in a relationship, some people even in marriage, they'll be like, they are stepping out of marriage for some time to still explore. Yeah. That was like the case of Eve, because she actually answered the call of another man, another voice, other than the one of Adam, which was the serpent. Because Adibin, she didn't allow herself to be alone. There was no way for distraction. So that is why all these wee ladies will be like, I want this tall, dark, and handsome. So people already have something that they know is good, but just for them to fulfill their flesh, they just want to explore and be like, no, I still have other options. Eve made herself to be distracted and then deceived by the serpent. That is like my number one. That like there are two in one. Companionship. Because she failed to be a companion. That is the main purpose God created her. Because she failed rather. Yeah. And again, to know that Eve was also a good companion and she was submissive, she actually took the fruit to Adam. So she actually took the fruit to Adam, and it was no longer Eve's fruit, it was their fruit. She was actually submissive, but in a bad way. Yeah. It's good to be submissive, because this saying that his money is our money, my money is my money. For Eve giving him the apple, that is like a shared responsibility. It also means that what you have and what he has is for the both of you. So the third one was, after the fall, God actually told them to go to the world to be fruitful and multiply, which Eve actually did. She gave birth to children for Adam and even helped in grooming them in the way of the Lord. For them, even the children, even offering sacrifice to God. That means that she was part of the teachings and teaching them about the way of God with Adam. So she was a companion, but she failed as a companion. She was submissive, but she didn't show the submissiveness in a good way. And also, she was fruitful and helped in grooming the children, not just giving birth. Just like general saying, every woman own a kitchen and to born pikin. So, anyways, that is the end of my